goes, it's on. Hi.
Hi.
So the last time we met, we talked about what kind of the next professional development training
Yes.
we're going to work on, and talked a little bit about some of the behavior problem you have with Josiah in the afternoon. And I talked, and that's, I know, thinking about trying to get to the real root cause of the issue. I was talking to Lori about it on the phone, and I said, a lot of this I know Molly knows and does, and she's, it's really sometimes doing a little more training for the paras or having them understand it, take ownership, and understand that there's a function for every behavior.
Right.
Because then those things don't get as, you don't take it as personally.
It's not, I'm naughty for no reason.
Yeah, and I'm trying to make you mad.
Yeah, I'm naughty because I don't like you.
I know, and
exactly.
So I talked to her a bit about that, and about what we could do otherwise that might really just, and I think, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about beginning of the year, and the relationship between you guys has just been so fabulous. But how else can you even increase that relationship to empower your staff, really,
Right.
So Laura and I were talking, and I thought this would be okay. We talked about maybe I doing a little modeling for you how I would train them on the functions of behavior and the ABC stuff, and then you train them. And I'll just give them that knowledge and background, and it might, I know at the end of school it's been so stressful.
I know.
Everywhere I go. But you guys hold it together, but it might help alleviate some of that stress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So what I did was I went ahead and I changed this around a little bit. It's a copy of it.
Sure.
We can just go through it and tell me, like I said, this is what I'm going to go through today with you.
Okay.
I can change stuff, and as I'm going through it, you can kind of check and see that I'm making all those points.
Okay.
And we can change it too. Like I thought about it too. I don't want to give them too much information and can overwhelm them.
Yeah.
I want to give them enough that they understand.
Yeah, totally.
And because both of them are kind of going into education, I know Taylor's going to run that group this summer.
At the Y.
I think she'll like this. So the goal will actually be, Molly will teach her paras the functions of behavior and how to use an ABC. I call it ABC chart.
Yeah.
I never know what it's really called. I told Laura, I'm like, isn't it an ABC chart?
Well, isn't it the antecedent behavior consequence?
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, and that's on the back. So this is the little thing there.
Okay.
So what I was going to do is, I'll model what I would do for them first.
Sure.
So I'd first give them these handouts, and I did a couple of handouts for you. And kind of talk about, and I said, at first review what's in the pink highlighted areas. And this is from our Pyramid Plus approach, session 17, understanding the function of behaviors. So I kind of did the highlights, Mike. I figured, you and I kind of being behavioralists know this stuff, but kind of giving them the high points is that, like, in talking about the function of behavior, and the FBA is a central feature of PBIS, which I thought, you guys do PBIS. That might go, oh yeah, we do that here, you know.
Right.
And then the whole process, which is involved gathering the information about the problem behavior, the situations where the problem's behavior is most least likely to occur, and the consequence. So it goes back to the antecedents, behavior, and consequence.
Well, and I think that consequence piece is I think the part that my paras kind of understand the sort of trigger, antecedent, and behavior. But I think what will, honest to God, be new information to them will be, what is it that we are doing as adults that are
to
reinforcing that
behavior
by how we react to it.
Good.
So I think
good. Like I said, and I used to do this training when I was at the day treatment centers, and people were like, "Oh, So this is kind of an overview, and then kind of talk about the components of the FBA. Observe the child and target routines, and then you collect information. There's a lot more information in there. I just kind of added stuff in if they want to look at it. We don't have to go, and then I think on page 3 is like the positive behavior support, the ABCs of behavior, the antecedent of behavior, and consequence. Sorry, from this page here. Like I said, we can set this down. But then I thought, just kind of talking about that overall, and talking about how knowing the function of the behavior or the behavior equation, like I said, really will take that emotional impact off of them. And then on for step number 3 for the strategy skill set, talking a little bit about how every behavior is observable and has a function. One of the things I have to do too is say, let's for example, Molly just took out, so the behavior is, and I always use like an example they're doing. So the behavior is Molly just took out her lip gloss, whatever. Where is mine? Shoot.
The ones that Janine does. I know.
So and using that right on the board, Molly took out her lip gloss. What is the antecedents? And have them start guessing them and be like, is it her lips are dry? The antecedent was she licked her lips before that. The antecedent was it was 3:30 in the afternoon and it was time for her to put her gloss.
Right.
You know, blah blah blah. And then what is the consequence?
Yeah.
And I taught and I was trying to use a live example right there.
Yeah.
Like I just like scratched my head or something or whatever.
Yeah.
What's the antecedents? What's the consequence? So they
Yeah.
kind of have like that
Yeah.
every behavior is observable
Right.
and has an ABC can be related
Right.
back.
And I think, it sounds like too, like it's huge for them also to, like you're saying, like it's just a very objective, Molly just took out chapstick. Like
Right.
it's not this sort of, with just a
He hit me with
smidge of-
a-
yeah, like he got crazy and
Yeah.
did this.
I don't know why he did it. Well,
Yeah, let's be actually what the behavior is as opposed to,
exactly.
using.
It's observable. And I was going to say it's observable because I think that's good to know.
Right.
You have to be able to observe it.
Yeah.
It makes it much less like you kind of remove yourself from it.
Right. Instead of saying so and so was crazy,
Crazy.
so and so was running around the room.
Jumping up and down,
Yeah,
or whatever that
right,
observable
right.
behavior is. I think that kind of is a good place to start.
Yeah.
I also threw in there, and I don't know, and then on the back of this whole packet, I'm sorry, there is the
Oh, yeah.
ABC
Uh-huh.
data sheet,
Sure.
which we could use at a later time. But I thought maybe saying, like talking about like a behavior is observable and a function, and use a practical. And then I also gave them a review of the motivational assessment scale. I gave you a copy of that too. Have you ever used the motivational
No.
assessment scale? This is, and do a little, and I can write this up for you too. It's a little bit, it's a scale that I used to use in New York back years ago. It kind of talks about the function of behavior.
Yeah.
So, and this just focuses on the sensory, escape, attention, and tangible.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, I don't think that most often our kids are doing behaviors that don't really fall under that category
Most are.
in one way or
Yeah.
another.
And I know there's more up-to-date scales out there. I think this is kind of an easy one to use. You can kind of go through it. I mean, we don't have to go into detail. I just think having them aware that there is a motivation, a behavior.
Yeah.
And I always like to use the example, too, about my friend at the time was smoking cigarettes. And she'd go, that pack of cigarettes actually did a lot of those behaviors. It was sensory, because I got the sense of smoke. It was escape, because I could go outside and smoke and not be in the classroom.
Yeah.
It was attention, because, as a teenager, when I was a teenager, I was getting the attention of my peers because I was kind of cool and hip. And it was tangible because I could hold that pack of cigarettes. It was interesting how that behavior for her got all four of them. I just kind of think about it. Just kind of give them that overview that there is a function of behavior and really doing, and I wrote it back down the sheet, I'm kind of skipping around, that really by taking the time to do an ABC data sheet, we can kind of get more about, get the answers to consequence. That's the first step before we can find the function of the behavior. So like I said, and then go back and maybe we do one quick review of one together or something, or you say, okay guys, let's do a behavior and have them do, and then you together do antecedent the consequence. Just that kind of training so they kind of start thinking in that way of light.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, like I said, throughout the week, if Josiah's acting crazy, be like, well, what did you observe?
Yeah,
Just to
what
reinforce
did
that.
he do? Exactly what did he do and what happened before and what happened after?
And what was the consequence of that? Oh, I went over and gave him one-on-one attention. What is the function of it? Really just,
Yeah.
because I think once they understand that, I mean, they're smart girls.
Oh, yeah.
And I think like you and I do it so naturally.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm always like, boom,
yeah.
boom, boom, boom. But I think giving them that background might really help. So if that's okay, I'd love to come in on Wednesday
Sure,
around noon,
yeah.
and we could go over that. And I've got some extra handouts for you. Do you think the handouts would help them too?
Probably. I think it would be good. And
thought-
especially, for Taylor,
I know.
for just, future reference and stuff, I think it would be good for them to have that.
So is that okay for you to read that as far as you kind of know what steps to follow? And
Yeah.
like I said, I just wanted to, that's kind of how I would do it. Not real long, not real involved, but kind of give them that overview and kind of go from there.
Sure.
Great. Thank
Great.
you.
Okay.